Nothing beats a good ghost story on Halloween, and our planet is chock full of them. UFO sightings in Transylvania, murders on luxury cruise ships, and spirits wandering the halls of British castles. No matter where you are traveling, you are sure to find some sort of haunted sites, as well as a ghost tour to go along with it. But even if you are not a fan of paranormal activities, some of the spookiest locations are still worth your time, whether for their beautiful architecture, jaw-dropping locations, or fascinating histories. Here are the 10 most haunted places in the world you want to visit any day of the year, not just on October 31st. Number 10. Hoia Forest, Romania. From the moment a military technician captured a photograph of a UFO hovering over the forest in 1968, Hoia has gained a paranormal notoriety around the world, with some believing it to be a portal that causes visitors to disappear. Those who have passed through the forest without being zapped onto another realm have reported rashes, nausea, and feeling of anxiety, according to The Independent. Known as the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania, the spooky curved trees that populate the forest just add the eerie atmosphere. Number 9. Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. Built in 1888 to encourage tourism and sell train tickets, this shuttle-style hotel sits pretty by the Rocky Mountains in Banff National Park, but it gets to a tad more gothic once you get inside. And we aren't talking about the architecture. The Calgary Herald has reported several resident ghosts, including a bride who supposedly fell down the stone staircase during her wedding. But there's a less tragic spirit too. Sam the bellman, who worked at the hotel until 1975 and claimed he'd come back to haunt the joint. His spirit supposedly pulls shifts helping people with their bags before disappearing. Eastern State Penitentiary, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The castle-like Eastern State Penitentiary took solitary confinement to a new levels when it was built in 1829. Prisoners lived alone, exercised alone, and ate alone. When an inmate left his cell, a guard would cover his head with a hood so he couldn't see or be seen. The prisoner had to be abandoned its solitary confinement system due to overcrowding in 1913, although the forms of punishment did not get any less severe. Chaining an inmate's tongue to his wrist is one example. Before it closed for good in 1970, the site now welcomes thousands of visitors every year, both for its museum and Halloween celebrations. Reported paranormal happenings have included disembodied laughter, shadowy figures, and pacing footsteps. Number 7. Bhangar Fort, India. Located just 100 miles southwest of Delhi, the large ruins of Bhangar Fort make for a curious juxtaposition against the desert landscape of Rajasthan. To this day, the oasis remains largely uninhabited due to an alleged curse cast by the disgruntled sorcerer after his advances were rebuffed by a local princess. If you prefer your trips to still more spiritual than haunted, Travelers' former editor-at-large Hanya Yanagihara suggests saluting the sun during a session of pre-dusk yoga at the site. Number 6. Château de Brissac, Conseil, France. One of the tallest castles in all of France, the seven-story Château de Brissac, is perhaps best known as the home of the Green Lady, aka the Rose of Charlotte of France. The chateau's website tells a legend of Charlotte, the illegitimate daughter of King Charles V, who was murdered by her husband after he discovered her having an affair, named for the color of her dress when she was killed. The Green Lady can be found roaming the chapel's tower room and mourning in early hours of the morning. Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel's stately Georgian architecture and well-renowned whiskey bar have lured travelers to Estes Park since opening in 1909, but the hotel reached new levels of fame after inspiring Stephen King to create The Shining's fictional Overlook Hotel. That eerie association aside, many those sightings had some some mysterious piano music have been connected to the hotel, and the Stanley Hotel leans into its reputation with nightly ghost tours and psychic consultations from the in-house Madame Vera. Number 4. La Recoleta Cemetery, Buenos Aires, Argentina. You don't have to be religious to be moved by La Recoleta Cemetery, which features thousands of statues, mausoleums, fairy tale grottos, and intricate tombstones, as well as the remains of Argentina's most iconic figure, Eva Perón. The stone walkways and labyrinths of mausoleums are as beautiful as they are eerie, and Recoleta has a couple haunted legends of its own. One of the most famous stories involves David Aleno, a former gravedigger and a caretaker who worked at the cemetery for 30 years before killing himself. Today the people report hearing Aleno's keys jangling as his ghost walks the pathway at dawn. Tower of London, England. Built by William the Conqueror in 1066, this uncompromising fortress has had many functions, but is best known for its bloody history as a prison and execution site. Henry VI famously ordered the execution of two of his wives, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard here. It's also where two young princes were imprisoned after the death of their father, King Edward IV. They disappeared shortly after in 1483, and their remains weren't found until 1647. Unsurprisingly, those stories are the tower's victims, and ghost tours through historic royal palaces abound. Number 2. Jazirat Al Hamra, United Arab Emirates. You will find the nearly abandoned town of Jazirat Al Hamra about 14 miles southwest of Ras Al Khaimah in northern UAE. Located between a huge mall and a huge water park. Established in the 14th century, the town grew into a thriving pearl fishing village in the 1830s before it was suddenly abandoned in 1968. The town now consists of dirt roads, 13 mosques, and more than 300 coral and mud houses, and of course some resident spirits. People claim that visitors are bound to experience strange noises and chilling apparitions, usually the genies, in the form of animals. St. Augustine Lighthouse, Florida. The St. Augustine Lighthouse is visited by nearly 225,000 people annually, but it's just as well known for its otherworldly visitors. Several tragic events that occurred at the now historic site have contributed to the alleged paranormal activity. The dose of a lighthouse keeper who fell to his death while painting the tower had been spotted watching over the grounds, and ever since the historic death of three young girls who drowned when the cat they were playing in broke and fell into the ocean. Visitors have claimed to hear the sounds of children playing in the and around the lighthouse. This is the end of the 10 most haunted places in the world. And if you like to see more of this kind of videos, don't forget to click the subscribe button and like this video.